Today we're going to come in here and we're going to clean up this garden bed. These are summertime plants. These are tomato plants, and we are transitioning. We're going from summer to fall. And in the fall, plants like this won't grow. Tomato plants, they like heat, they like warm nights, right, to produce ripe red fruit. So what we're going to do is we're going to come in here, we're going to clean this all up, we're going to get rid of all this material, we're going to loosen up the soil, and we're going to plant a new crop, one that will grow during the winter time, keep weeds out of our bed, and pull in nutrients. Nutrients are food for our plants. So in the springtime, those summertime plants will have something to eat. They'll have nutrients. So they'll have something to use to grow big and healthy and strong and produce really good, tasty fruit. So before I start cleaning up this bed, I'm going to want to use some safety equipment. I want to cover my hands just in case there's any thorns or glass or any sharp items in this garden bed. Plus it just keeps your hands clean. Tomato leaves, when they get on your skin, makes your skin kind of itchy sometimes. Some people have like an allergic reaction to it. So I just want to cover my hands up, keeps me clean. So I'm going to get in here, I'm going to clean this bed. One of the tools I'm going to use are my pruners. Now, some of us are a little too young to use these pruners because these are really sharp and they can cut you. So if you're doing this at home, make sure you have an adult help you with this portion of it. Or you could simply just take a plant and start pulling it up by the roots and pull the entire plant out. I like to cut the plants because I like to keep those roots underneath the soil. Even though they're not living, those roots are going to decompose, they're going to break down and become soil themselves. They're also going to leave little holes in the soil. So I'm going to get to it. I'm going to start cleaning up this bed. So now that I've got all the plant material out of here, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to remove some of the irrigation so I don't mess it up. And then I'm going to get my garden tool. I'm going to scrape all the weeds out of here, kind of rake it clean, and then we're going to loosen our soil. Now I'm going to use a hard rake to rake up all my plant material and leave the soil. Most of these are weeds, so I don't want to put these in my compost that I'm going to use in the garden. I'm going to put these in the green bin and get rid of them because I don't want the seeds from these weeds to grow again in my garden beds. So I'm going to make a separate pile for this stuff. Now I'm going to loosen my soil with this digging fork. I'm not going to turn it over. I'm just going to loosen it up so there's a little more air in my soil. Now that I have my soil loosened up a bit, I'm going to go ahead and clean up all this plant material. I'm going to put it in the compost over here. And then I'll come back and we'll plant this cover crop. So the next thing I want to do is get my hard rake here. It's a hard tined rake, and I'm gonna rake this out smooth. I could rake it like this, and that smooths it out. But if I turn it over, it really gets a nice smooth surface if I do it this way. So I'm gonna go through, just kind of smooth out my garden. So now that I have a nice clean garden bed, I could leave it like this over the winter, but it's gonna rain, and the weeds, the plants we don't want in our garden, the weeds are gonna start growing. So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to plant a cover crop. So a cover crop is just plants that will cover the soil, they'll grow and cover it, they'll shade it from the sun so weeds don't grow, and they'll also provide food for the soil, or they'll actually bring food into the soil that will provide our next season's plants with nutrients and food. So in here we have a few different types of plants. We have peas, vetch, beans, and then I have a bigger seed here that's fava beans. Now, all these plants are kind of special, or well, when they grow into plants, they're kind of special. What they can do is they add nitrogen into the soil. A lot of the plants we eat use a lot of nitrogen. Nitrogen is plant food. It's a nutrient. So these plants, when they grow, they're able to suck the nitrogen out of the air. There's a lot of nitrogen floating around in our atmosphere, in the air. They suck it out of the air and they put it into the soil. So with these small seeds, these little guys, I'm just gonna spread them around pretty thick. I'm gonna put a lot of seeds in here. These big beans, they become big plants, and these have to go down in the soil a little deeper. So I'm going to plant these by hand. I'm not going to put that many of these big plants in here because they'll even shade out all these little seeds. And I'm going to plant them about this deep, about an inch, inch and a quarter. All I'm going to do is make a little hole in the soil and just bury them. Now that I have these big beans buried in my soil, I need to cover up all these little seeds with something. You can use hay, but it sometimes has weed seeds in it. Rice straw, it's a type of hay that's growing it's the leftover from rice. That does not have weeds, so that's a good one to cover. In my case, I'm just gonna use soil. I'm gonna cover this up with a little soil, maybe some compost. Two ways we could do it. I could take my rake and I could just kind of rake the seeds into the soil. Now I'm going back and forth so I don't end up with a bunch of seeds over here, a bunch of seeds over there. If I raked it one way and then raked it the next, you get seeds in really clumped up spaces. So you kind of want to go back and forth, maybe in circles, and just kind of rough all your seeds in underground. Another way to do it is just get a wheelbarrow full of soil and cover it up. So this end will rake, that end will use soil, and then we'll come back and see which one grows better. How about that? Now I'm gonna smooth it out again, just because I like to have my garden nice and smooth on the surface. This also helps bury the seeds a little better. It's really dusty out here. So now that I have my soil prepared, I have seeds in here. I covered that side with soil. I just roughed this side out. What do I need next? What else do plants or seeds need to grow? Or even you or I, for that matter. We need something to grow that I haven't given these seeds yet. Can you guess what it is? That's right, water. So I need to come in and water this bed. So I'm gonna get my hose and I'm gonna really water these in well. I wanna water them really, really well because these seeds are really, really dry and they need a lot of water so they can soak it up and start to grow. Because these seeds, they don't look like they're living, but they are living. They're just dormant, they're sleeping right now. They're hibernating, right? So when I give these seeds water, they start a process, they'll start to grow. So I'll come back maybe twice a week and we'll take a picture of this bed and we'll watch the plants grow and we'll watch the process and we'll see that happen. All right, now I got my garden bed all prepared for winter time. I'm gonna put these irrigation back in place so my timer will water them. That way I don't have to come with the hose every time. And then when it starts to rain, I'll just shut my water off and let the rain do the work. All right, now that I have my garden bed all cleaned up, my tools are put away, I'm gonna call it a day, go home, eat lunch. I will come back here once or twice a week and get a picture or a short video of this bed for you. We'll watch these seeds grow and see how things progress. And in the meantime, I want you to think about gardening at your own house maybe. There's other plants you can plant in the wintertime. Broccoli, kale, carrots, potatoes, all kinds of really healthy food that you can enjoy. You can enjoy planting, it gets you outside, it's healthy, it's good, and you can learn new things through gardening. So until then, stay safe, have fun, and I'll see you soon.